Hello and welcome to today's episode of Jiggy Cafe. Today's topic is media and self-image, and I am here with my friend Victoria Weiss. And we have two guest stars who are coming in today who are working models in the entertainment business. Raquel Riskin. Hey Raquel.
How's it going?
Great, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And Patrick Nagel. Hey, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And we are today's panel of
Jiggy Cafe.
Okay, so Raquel, because we're doing the segment on modeling, why don't you tell us a little bit of your background and how you got started?
Sure. Modeling kind of happened by accident. Acting is my career goal and what I have the most passion for, but obviously now I love modeling just as much. I ended up doing it first as a favor for a friend of a friend for a photography project, actually. And to this day, my favorite photo is one of the ones taken black and white film that day, and it just kind of sparked my interest. And in the years since, I've been able to use it kind of as a segue to my acting career, so I've benefited in being able to discuss my acting career when I am featured, like say in a magazine or something like that. So it works out really well, and it's really fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's nice too because then you can do the acting thing, and then when that's slow or in between your gigs, then you can get into the modeling as well,
Exactly.
right? So, it pays the bills. And
Being on set shooting anything is great.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Victoria, I know that you have done modeling yourself. Can you tell us what got you into the industry?
I dabbled in it a little bit when I was younger, and I'm only 5'7", and I have kind of the body type of that pinup style model. So in any city, it's kind of hard to get into that commercial print, because I would be more commercial print than I would be runway, right? Or I would model for a lingerie company of specialty bras that I wear. So it's really difficult because you really have to act as your own agent, and you have to find those people.
Patrick,
Yes.
you have modeled, I hear, in Milan?
Yes.
Whoa.
Let's hear about
Okay,
this.
well, brush off my
well-
shoulder.
Can I have your autograph?
Oh, jeez. But much like you, I also kind of accidentally fell into the modeling world, and I met my agent, whom I love. He was, what was it, when I was going to college, and he was my professor at the time. So he needed help one day to do a segment on TV, and I helped him out since I guess you could say the programs there, the student and professors were more buddy-buddy, and next thing you know, I had a contract, and he's like, "You want to go to Milan?" I said, "Yes, I do."
Wow.
Why not? I was 23 at the time, and never looked back.
That's awesome.
And you're still there in your
Yeah,
mind.
exactly.
Now, would you say that you're the conventional model, or are you a little bit more upbeat?
With my somatotype and look, I am a bit of, well, what I'm told, I have a bit of variety, and I can be put in every unique category since I've done pretty much anything. I've dabbled in those categories.
How long
runway
were
and
you?
all that. For Milan, I was there for about 4 months for the first year, and then I traveled to Greece for the next location. You just go from location to location, so then London, and then a lot of, you can only stay in one place for so long at a time. Like I said, I was in there for 4 months in Milan, and then I went to different places, and then I went back to Milan like once a year, I guess you could say. But everyone has a unique look, and there's always a doppelganger of yourself. There's always going to be someone who looks like you and in a different race and different country, and you're like, okay.
Something I had to come to terms with, because I, believe it or not, started in the industry way back when I was 16. I was really, really lean and really, really tiny, and I competed, and I didn't even think at the time that it would be something that I would be quite good at. And then I was told by constantly agents and representation, "We love you, we want to have you," and I didn't really understand why until I found out. They're like, "You're so cute." And I was like, no, because as a young girl, all you want to be known is, you're sexy and beautiful, but they're like, "You're cute." I'm like, oh, but that's okay, because I've had to come to terms with a type and it's cute.
Sure. As long as you know, like, your branding type, you know,
Yeah.
You have
and
to
you
know your
work
brand.
it, then you focus on that, and then you do it, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know, I encountered some people at an acting school that I used to work with who, you know, they'd fight what their brand is. And,
Right.
and that would be one of the classes, like, what do you think your brand is? And they would write it down.
Yeah.
And then, you know, everyone else would write what they would think the person's brand is. And so often it's not the same thing, and it's not to crush anyone's dreams. It's just hone what
Yeah.
the world's going to see you as.
Absolutely.
And not to typecast yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
variety, of course. But I mean, just own it and succeed with that. And
Yeah.
then you can branch out
Yeah.
more easily.
Absolutely, because if you don't know your brand, you are not going to get hired.
Exactly.
You're going to go into that room and you're going to confuse the heck out of those casting directors, and they're going to be like, well, we see you as this, but you're coming across as
Yeah.
this. You need to know your brand. Even if you don't like it, you just need to.
For sure.
You know.
What would you say that your brand is?
Yeah, tell us what you're on now.
Well, it's funny because most people have agreed with me, but I actually had to sit down with one agent that totally disagreed with me, and respectable agent that I still think is wonderful and would recommend to friends, but just not seeing eye to eye on that was really big. I kind of mix what I really want it to be with what I think it can be. You know, I kind of think the whole like femme fatale, like I'd love to do, you know, action movies, that kind of thing. You know, kick-ass but intelligent. This is so like self-serving. I mean, as an actor, like what I could pull off. You know what I mean? Because not only would I have a lot of fun with those roles, but I think part of why that could be my brand is because I would love it so much that I would be able to just own it.
Absolutely, it would be you,
and it would
be you.
I'd be able to embody it,
Yeah.
you know, better. But I mean, hey, want to hire me as the nerdy neighbor? I'll do it.
Sure. Put some glasses on, put your hair back.
I did. I had a role like that,
Yeah?
and I pulled off.
But did you then like turn into like the seductress?
Well, I was
goddess?
supposed to.
Yeah, see, that's why.
This was a few years ago,
Okay,
and I'm not sure I pulled it off at the time. I'd rather not discuss that with you.
Sure.
Google it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been told I've had to come to terms with, okay, you're cute, but I also at the same time play evil characters because I have dark hair
That's
and
fun.
very dark eyes.
And you come across as deceiving, right? Where people trust you, and then all of a sudden you
yes,
turn into
so
a
there's
bad
a
girl.
dichotomy there.
Yeah.
So I guess it's
But that's
like
a powerful thing. You can rock that. That's,
Because of my body type, they always brand me as sexy, without question, because I have boobs, a small waist, and a bum. It's always going to be sexy, and no matter if I duct tape my boobs
You
or
can't
wear
pretend
a one,
you're not sexy.
yeah, or a
'Cause you are.
one-piece brown snowsuit,
Yeah.
I will always be a very feminine-looking person, but then also come across as intelligent. You know, like very strong. Like even the way you present yourself, it's like the CSI agent,
Yeah.
but you're gonna
Totally.
kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
And you're gonna maybe charm people or seduce people with your look to get what you want,
Yeah.
right? So I think that would be the branding. I don't know exactly what you'd call it. Maybe sexy professional. I don't know. Or sexy sophisticated. SS.
Oh, I like that.
The thing I love
Yeah.
about Victoria is when we first met, I guess it was like 2 years ago, we were
Yeah.
working on set in Vancouver, and I met her, and call it judging a book by its cover, but I'd never expected her to be wildly intelligent. She is so smart, and it's just because of the way people
I feel like
judge
now turning
people
into a blonde.
on the way that they look. I looked at you and
Absolutely.
went, she's gorgeous, she's got big boobs, she's sexy. I'm like, she's probably not going to have anything interesting to say. And
No,
I
it's
sat
true
down
though.
and-
That's the stereotype,
It's
right?
hard not to stereotype, though,
Yeah.
especially in a
Very
place like
hard.
Vancouver where, I mean, there are enough superficial people in the world, and then you have Vancouver, which is filled with people. How do I put this?
They like to take your power away.
Well, okay, sure, yeah, and also people who think there's something they're not, and then like magnified. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know, but there are so many people that really do personify the stereotypes that it's really easy
And
to assume.
And that's the thing, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
so many people prove it right. It's disappointing, but
That's why you
hopefully-
gotta prove it wrong. We should be on a
Exactly.
mission.
How about your brand?
My brand is pretty much a commercial type look. I've done runway and all that, but there's only like the slender build that they want, like the Paris looking boys and all that they get the tight fit jeans.
Speaking of, you said what they want. How have you, or what would you recommend to somebody young who wants to be in the industry and who is feeling pressured by all of these people wanting different things from them? Do you have any pointers?
Yeah, well, much like what you guys were talking about earlier about owning yourself, having standards and morals, I guess you could say. There's, let's see, when you go overseas, they have you in the casting session to meet the designers and whatnot, and there will be hundreds of other people there that either look like you or are either too tall, too small, whatever, or odd looking, which, funny enough, they usually get the jobs because they look fascinating and amazing on camera. But they'll be trying on, say, a lingerie or underwear, but there will only be one pair. So there's other people that are going, yeah, that's kind of a little sketchy.
Wow.
Do I really want to do
That
that?
is
Do I really want the
disturbing,
job?
actually.
So people start becoming desperate, and they're like, I don't want to try on the same underwear that this guy tried on, that guy tried
It's
on.
actually very dangerous.
That
it
is.
very dangerous.
So that's why you have to pick and choose your battles, I guess you could say, within the industry. And
Could
the
you
work.
wear some sort of
Yeah.
shield?
So,
Some
well,
tissue paper.
Yeah.
here's something that is another
Saran
thing
wrap.
you have to really ask yourself. Are you willing to step it up a notch? Do you really want the job? Do you really want to risk losing work because you don't want to, I guess you could say, strip in front of them because they want to see if you have that confidence. It's a test. They're testing you
Right.
always.
Or having genital herpes for the rest of your life.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Now that's
Also
a risk
not
you want to
appealing.
test. So you're like, and you know that you're like, I know so and so, slept with that person, slept with that person. I don't really want to take that risk. So
How would you, do these people like live, do they stick you all in like a dorm?
Yes.
How does that work?
you live with the guys and the girls together in nice
Isn't there
little.
That's a
reality
recipe
show on
for
that?
disaster.
Actually, it's. You know what? Yeah, it is a soap opera in itself.
Why isn't
yeah.
there a reality show on that? That's actually real.
Let's
Yep.
do it.
Yes.
There's believe me, there's stuff in the works.
I'm not
But-
surprised.
And hilarity ensues, of course, but also disaster does happen,
sure.
and people talk behind your back. So you have to be
Oh.
the stronger person,
Yeah.
and you have to build up that confidence, and you have to put a stop to some things
Okay.
and say no.
When is too young, do you think, for somebody to get involved in the entertainment industry?
Well, I knew lots of mainly the girls start a lot younger than the boys, unfortunately. And the girls, I'd say, they actually start off at 13, 14
I
years
can't
old.
imagine
They-
sending my 13-year-old to Milan. I just can't. I no judgment to those who
Well,
have
there's-
done it,
yeah.
but I would just have a heart attack every day.
Absolutely.
I know. Well, that's where most of the people there, we actually took good care of the people that actually came from, Brazil was a hot spot that everyone wanted all their looks because they were very mature at their age.
Yeah.
And
They have that
we
look,
had to be
though.
careful. And
Gorgeous.
of
Yeah,
course, all the
absolutely.
parties that everyone has to go and network at, which are all great, but then you have to be careful of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll type of atmosphere.
So that's
And
true.
So yeah, it is very true, everything. And but you have to,
No.
you got to draw a line somewhere where you say, okay, you know what, I'm here to work. This is business. And
But if you're
that-
13,
if you're
how do you
13,
draw
you don't
that
know the
line?
difference. You don't know. You
Of
don't have
course
the
not.
line. But you have to take care of one another.
Do any of the parents? I mean, I wouldn't trust someone else to take. I mean, do parents ever go with their child and say, "Okay, we're going to set up shop here"?
Only in North America.
Wow.
Only in North
Wow.
America. Yeah.
Wow, sounds like a big scary world.
Yeah, it is. But you have to trust the agency. You have to make sure they're legit because there are scammers out there. I believe there's that website for North America. It's called Model Mayhem,
Yeah.
which I know is a fascinating and fantastic website to get people work. But there are unfortunately scammers,
Tons.
which I've also been, I guess you could say, a victim of.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
you have to have a strong sense of
Yeah.
what's right and what's wrong.
I think the biggest tip though with agencies, they're asking for like an upfront fee or something. That's the biggest thing. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing to look out for. You should never be paying an agency.
Never.
Ever. And if they do, then they're a scam. Because
Yeah.
there's absolutely no way that you should be paying someone when they're hiring
When you haven't even worked yet.
When you haven't
Yeah.
even worked
They
yet.
work for
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Do you guys have any pointers that you could throw out there for people who are wanting to get into the industry? Tips for when they are actually working in the industry about maintaining their integrity and
Yes.
their morality and their heart and ethics.
Professionalism.
They're especially in Vancouver. I mean, they're between
Oh, it's-
Craigslist removing its
Oh,
porn
geez, yeah.
section, which
Yep.
now is
Yeah.
completely.
The adult
Craigslist
section.
has
yes.
a porn
They
section?
had an
It
adult.
did.
They had
Oh,
an
yeah.
adult section.
And you know,
It's
so
just,
many people
ah.
made a stink about this adult section existing, and I've posted about this on my Twitter before. For lack of better words, the people who fought that section and got rid of it, they messed up. Because now you can't look for legitimate anything without sifting through
Yeah.
the piles of the XXX stuff, which, hey,
Yeah.
power to you, but not my
Yeah,
thing,
that's
and
all
I
their
want a
thing.
way to look for my thing without, and
Yeah, I personally think for that adult stuff, there should be a separate website. And I'm
Yes.
sure there are, and people know about it that are in that industry, but it shouldn't be on
It should be
a thing
isolated,
like
yeah.
Craigslist.
where
No
16-year-old
way.
girls are
Absolutely.
looking for modeling gigs,
No way. Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
no one knows that line. And they're like, oh,
Exactly.
is this legit or is this not? How are they supposed to find out? Until they go there and they're like, oh, no, don't bring anyone. You'll be safe and sound in my arms. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, boy.
Well, and your question, about integrity, it's like so many people, especially in Vancouver, will, not even necessarily coerce. I mean, people think that they have to do things that they don't have to do, and you're
Absolutely
not
not.
going to not make it if you say no to taking your top off. Like, you're not, it sounds so simple
Amen.
and straightforward. It
Yeah.
seems like common sense, but the reality is when you're in the hot seat, it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
well, if I say
desperation.
no, am
Yeah.
I gonna like lose it?
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
just put your foot down. I mean, my agent, and I'm sure most
Mm-hmm.
would be happy saying, you don't want to do it, done. You're not going to do it.
Absolutely.
Fine, we'll
Yeah.
work around it, and you're still going to pursue your dream without.
You should always be
right.
protected. Yeah.
Exactly.
At the
Confidence
end of
is
the
key.
day,
Yeah.
you're your own boss, and they work for you,
Yeah.
and everybody else is employing you, and you are you in your essence. So it's kind of embracing that once
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah, you are boss, and you should always go with your gut. Like with anything, go with your gut. If you don't have a good feeling about it, don't do it. It doesn't
out
even
of
matter if it's not taking
Yep.
off your top. You know, it doesn't matter if it has nothing to do with the sexual, you know, scene. It's something where it's like, if it doesn't feel right, it's, you know, it's a little scary. You have to get out of that situation.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
if your gut's giving you any kind of feeling at all, likely you're going to have some regrets later.
Absolutely.
So avoid that
Yeah.
from the beginning by
Yeah.
listening to yourself.
Yeah, but it is a
You'll-
tough industry to break
Yeah.
into.
Now, I feel it would be unloyal to our viewers if I didn't put this one out there. Can you guys give any pointers to young girls who may be approaching the industry and thinking that they have to be slim and are considering becoming anorexic or bulimic or...
It's not necessary. There's even I mean there's big and tall magazines and for everything.
Absolutely,
You don't have to be picture perfect or anything to get work, which is fantastic nowadays, anyways. But back in the day, of course, everything was stereotyped as everyone has to be the slender build and know the runway skinny McGee model going down that can only fit into a size
Right.
-2.
Yeah.
And it's not really the case anymore.
I think times are changing.
It comes back to knowing your brand. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Exactly.
I haven't done a runway show, and there's a reason for that. Yet, you know, FHM India and Maxim think that I'm okay. There's a reason
Absolutely,
for
they
that.
do, yeah.
You got to know what your body's good for, and you're right. I mean, there is people need models that fit normal clothes,
Yeah.
you know, and there's a market for that. And go out there and own it. And if you feel good about yourself and you're at those auditions, you're going to book it and you're going to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Don't try to be something you're not.
Yeah.
And even I, when I was 20 or 30 pounds heavier, a little
Wow,
while
I
ago.
can't even imagine.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Should-
But I still booked
This is
lifestyle.
the same.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was on a train enjoying myself, you know, booking stuff where they needed real people to
Yeah.
be drinking and eating
Yeah.
and enjoying themselves and looking at sites and
Oh.
holidaying, and they make it look
And
like
that's
real
the
people.
commercial print. If you want it to get into that kind of with the regular people, it's commercial print modeling rather than the runway.
But I will say this: when I was overseas, and living with the other models, I've never seen so many girls eat so much food.
Yeah.
Like they were eating, and they. I mean,
And then
but the
fight
thing
over
is
the
that
bathroom.
everyone you work out. You work out.
Yes.
You don't just sit around do nothing. We walk 14 hours a day from
Right.
like 6 in the
Right.
morning to the agency, which is
Yeah.
across town. That we walk from job
Yeah.
to job to job to job, or pardon me, to castings.
Yeah.
And you work it off, and
Yeah.
of course you eat because your metabolism's
Right.
up, and you just
Yeah, and I think
you
that's
need
their,
the energy.
their body type too, though.
It
That's
is,
their
yeah.
metabolism, right? I mean, again, you have to know what your body's good for, and you have to figure out what your body is. I mean, I think bottom line is you have to be healthy.
Just healthy,
You
yeah.
have to be healthy. Work out, eat properly, and then whatever your body naturally does,
Do it.
go with
Go
it.
for it.
Go
None
for
of this
it, yeah.
purging
No.
after hours and midnight or whatever, throwing up.
Well,
No,
the
please
thing
no.
is, it's they don't see the toll on it right now.
No.
But they will.
Oh my gosh, it will destroy your body.
Yeah.
And,
People-
and the
Sleeping
truth is,
patterns
it's
and
not
all that.
attractive. Like, I
No.
mean, you can tell it's getting more and more rare. I've noticed to see
Yeah.
a really, really emancipated.
Yeah.
I almost said girl like in a magazine. But the truth is, when you do come across that, I mean, it's sad. Like, it breaks my heart because I'm thinking there's no way that's how. Some people are naturally skinny, but then you're like,
Absolutely,
you're
yeah.
not naturally like that. And so it's heartbreaking, and it's also not sexy. It's not attractive. It's not. People are naturally made to be attracted to like a healthy, you know, the same way men want a woman who's healthy.
And another thing with magazines and with photos is I have friends who are photographers who work for major magazines, and they spend after their shoot
I
like
know.
6 or 7 hours minimum just changing the way that the person looks,
I know.
changing their shape, modifying this, liquefying that, enlarging their breasts, making this smaller. Like, that is not the real person.
It's
Nobody
that's
looks like
sad.
that.
Yeah,
and if
that's-
anything, I think that it's whether it's I don't know if it's the photographers that have maybe molded that, or if it's the client that wants that. And I think that's
Good
sad.
question.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's for the artistic value at the end result,
sure.
okay, by all means, like that's
Yes.
what the look is for.
But if it's
it's
selling it,
not
yeah.
you, and having said that too, if you're gonna show up to a casting like
That's the thing.
and your photos all immaculate and all that, but you come in a scruffy looking
Yeah.
and you're like,
Or you look nothing
you look
like your
nothing like your
photo.
headshot.
Yeah.
Casting directors do not like that.
Yeah.
Well, if you get a nose job in post editing that didn't happen in real
Yeah,
life, there's
right.
a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
You have to be you.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really own yourself. But it's like easier said than done because we've all been through it, and we've all been through the mistakes and the, not necessarily I would say the regrets, but the experiences. And,
No regrets. Yeah.
And no regrets, but
Learning
please,
experiences.
Yeah, exactly. Learning
Just be careful,
experiences.
yeah.
Be very careful. Be very cautious. Just because you'll get into this industry, like Raquel was saying, you have like this image of what you want it to be. And so you'll trust anyone. You will, because you want it to be like that.
Yeah.
And so you're so excited when someone's excited about you. You're like, yeah, it's so easy. It's not. You have to do your homework,
Yeah.
research. And it's like going
Protect
to a doctor,
yourself.
getting more than one opinion.
Yeah.
I would say get 10 opinions and ask as many questions
Yeah.
as possible with every single person.
Yeah, dig deep.
Absolutely.
Do your research,
yeah.
check online, check other people's references, all
Absolutely,
that stuff.
yeah.
They say if it's a legit
Yeah.
agency or whatnot, or the the
Mhm.
areas that you're
Yeah.
working for.
Never
by
go
all means,
somewhere,
yeah.
even I'm 27 years old and I don't go somewhere without someone knowing where I
Yeah.
am.
Absolutely.
The contact information, just the other day,
Oh, yes.
music video shoot. I'm at this address at this time, I'll check in then, and if I don't, send help.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly,
but
yeah.
and not to point out our age, but like we're not 16. So it's like not that we're the experts of the world, but I mean we've learned these things over
Yeah.
time. So it's like if you yourself are young or if you have a child who is, it's like, go for it, but not only be careful, talk to people who
Yeah.
are past the level that you're at
Absolutely.
and get their opinions and their advice, and everyone's gonna have a different story. But
And that's the thing, because even with agencies, I find in TV and film, there's a lot of people who are with very top agencies, and some agents do a lot for one actor. Another one, they haven't got work in a year.
Yeah.
So just because one person says it's good, or just because one
may
person
not
says
work
it's
for
bad,
them, yeah.
it may not be working for that person. So please always look at it as, go in with a trusting, relationship. If you feel a good vibe, see what they're going to do for you. And if they aren't going to do anything for you, move on.
move on, because
They're-
somebody else
Don't
will.
dwell
That's the
on,
thing.
upon the past.
Like your agent and you should have, whether it's for modeling or TV and film, they should have a relationship with you where it's going to click and going to work. It doesn't mean they're a bad agency. They work for other people, but
Yeah.
sometimes they just won't work
It comes
for
to
you.
a numbers game.
Absolutely.
Quantity versus quality.
There are
yeah.
great people out there that would be lovely for maybe a man that you would want to date that wouldn't be a
Yeah.
good fit for me to date.
Exactly.
What's the difference with agents? It's a
Yeah.
relationship that has to work
Yeah,
for you.
it's a marriage.
And just
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
because just because you're not working doesn't mean that it's also the agent's fault.
Yeah, that's true.
You are
Yeah.
your own boss and all that, but most of the agents, I guess you could say, when you do find a reputable agency, they do fight for you and they do work for you. So it's probably just the industry itself taking some time off, probably some shows if you're on
Right.
film and TV that are just not filming. They're on hiatus
Yeah.
or whatnot. or
That
just
certain
doesn't
looks
work. Yeah.
come into fashion,
Yeah.
certain looks go out of
Exactly. You
fashion.
gotta know
Thick
the-
eyebrows, thin eyebrows.
season.
One year it's a really, really thin chick,
Yeah.
the next year
Yeah.
it's the buff girl.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I think that's something to be said for girls out there or people out there
Yeah.
who want to get into modeling or want to get into the business. It's just kind of embracing who you are.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Yeah.
learning who you are and what people see you as, and then just embracing that. Be it chubby, be it thin,
Yeah.
be it sexy, be it cute.
Yeah. Well, because there's a market for everything.
What's wrong
Yeah.
with cute? I don't understand why.
I know you.
I've spent my entire life trying to be hot, and I
Well,
failed.
you
Right.
are though. I think you still have cute in your brain because
Yes.
you are hot.
You
You're
were
so
16
sexy.
when you were being
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
cute, 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 and now you're hung up on cute, but now you're sexy.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Let's cheers to you
Cheers
being
to
sexy.
that.
Okay, let's break the mold of you being cute and you're
Fabulous.
Okay. That's it. Sexy is the new cute.
Yes! I like it.